First off, rest in peace, neighborhood Nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
Yo, what's happening, good people? We are back again with another episode of the 3-Man Weave podcast. And today we have a special guest, fantasy football champ. You know him in the group as Tony Stark. He's joined us on some other episodes before, like There Is No Crying in Fantasy. Steelers fan, our brother Marcus Farmer.
Man, thank y'all so much for having me, man. It's always a pleasure.
Speech. Man, First off, before we even get started and doing go ahead and give us your fantasy football champion speech, man.
Man, I was going to say thanks to my man D Hill for inviting me to the league. I've been trying to get in for a minute. It's a very competitive league. What made this league very unique compared to a lot of other leagues is this is a redraft league. So there's no opportunity to kind of build your roster. You got to kind of start from the top, from the draft, and you got to work that waiver wire. It's a very competitive league. I think everybody in the league know what they were doing. You know, you got some fantasy leagues where you got like 2 or 3 guys who just be there to donate money. But I felt like in this league, man, everybody knew what they was doing. So I had to just stay on top of it, man. Came out on top, got the dub, and I almost gave it away. D Hill finessed me on a trade that I offered him, and he gladly accepted it, and I kind of kicked myself now. But through all the adversity, man, I pulled through.
Yeah, it was a little too late for me. I should have did it a little couple weeks earlier. A couple of trades that I should have accepted. You might be having a different conversation.
And I sent you that trade way earlier. You was curving me on it at first.
Yeah. Hey, man, we go down the rabbit hole. We talk about the trade. Man, listen. Y'all know y'all can catch us on all major podcast platforms. 3-Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I am Hill, and Hill gonna Hill regardless. We do not have Cannon on this episode. Cannon had to take a leave of absence. He's doing some things to better himself. You know what I'm saying? And the things that couldn't help, not the things that couldn't help, but we having the scheduling conflict. So like I say, as soon as he can get his things in order that he wants to get in order, that he got going on, he will probably make his return. But until then, like I said, we just gonna hold it down till that guy, do his thing. But shouts out to Cannon on all his other endeavors that he got going on. Like you say, he's doing a lot of things. Like you say, new 2024. So like I say, shouts out to him.
Big money.
But we gonna hold it down. Oh, it's big money.
Big money. Shout out to Cannon.
It's big.
Shout out to Cannon.
Back roll, Brian.
Yeah, man. Hey, but and this is why I love the group. Absolutely. They already be on it. This is the first topic. This is what we open the door with. This is what we finna kick down the door. Matter of fact, let me make sure I text Ross, make sure he in this group too, because I need my boy to make sure that he here. But yeah, man, the Tennessee Titans, they went ahead and hired Brian Callahan, the Bengals OC. So maybe I'll give my thoughts last.
I mean, that is your offensive coordinator.
That's your OC. Talk about it.
Your former offensive coordinator. So yeah, the floor should start with you. Actually, yeah.
Okay. So what I will say is, man,
we know you posted it in the group, my brother. We are exactly. We knew what time it was. If anything, any breaking news go ahead, we know what
top poster of the year. But
why you won the award.
So for me, I'm actually surprised that it's just now happening. For a team to have had a Super Bowl run followed by an AFC Championship run, and to still bring all of their coordinators back after that type of success, You know, that continuity, you don't really see that in the NFL. And so I was shocked that Callahan came back, you know, was able to come back last year after his round of interviews. And so I kind of just felt like with this kind of go round, I think that what he did with Jake Browning, like being a part of that, I think was going to really elevate him to who he was, because now it started to make people think like, okay, even though he is not necessarily a play caller and people know that he's, you know, a part of the offensive game plan and, you know, he does that. I think what that offensive room was able to do and kind of, you know, still hold strong with Jake Browning towards the end of the season when Joe Burrow got hurt, it was only going to kind of elevate his stock. And, you know, there are some hot names that are floated out there right now. Some of them are still playing. And so sometimes these teams want to get out ahead of and just go ahead and get their guy so they can start building the staff. And so him having a respected name in football also, I think helps him. And what will be, you know, I told Ross this privately. And so one thing that I think will really kind of, you know, make this an extremely great hire is if he can somehow get his dad away from the Browns. If he's able to get his dad from the Browns, their biggest weakness is their offensive line on offense. We know what Bill Callahan does with offensive lines. So if he can get them down there and, you know, you have something to work with in Will Levis, you know, you go into the draft, you know, get them some weapons and stuff like that. Who knows? This could be a great hire. And one of the things that is underrated that I've preached that I like about Zach, even though I have my issues with him as a play caller, the culture. He changed the culture. He gets the buy-in. The team believes. People play for him. Like they want to play for him, and they will go to war for him. And so that's one of the things that I will say. He usually gets those guys to really buy in. And so I think Brian Callahan will bring some of that too.
And like you stated, you know, saying his name cachet, he should be able to build a quality staff based off his name alone. And that's the beauty of finding a head coach. And like, think 2 out of the 4 coaches that we have in the Final Four right now, they are not play callers. Yep. Like, Dan Campbell is not a play caller. John Harbaugh was never a play caller. Like I said, it's okay to get a CEO type of coach that can actually be a CEO. Or who knows? Maybe he will call plays. Maybe he's not. But let's just say off top that he doesn't call plays. Okay, can you coach? Like you said, can you coach? And that's the beauty. And one of the things that we said about coaching is building a staff. So let's see, can he build a staff and change some of this culture that they got going on in Tennessee? It's a different from Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel was the first time head coach, right?
Yep.
When he got that job.
Yep.
So okay, to go on that same route. Okay, he's gonna, like you say, he's a youngin. You see what he did with Jake Browning. Like I said, of course he wasn't calling the plays, but like you said, he was in the building. Like you said, we got Will Levis. Like you said, we got a draft. Can we build some things? They got ran with a new offensive coordinator. He had some friction with the head coach. Maybe he obviously had some, you know, some saying about who they hired. So maybe they can get on the same page and figure out this personnel that they got going on. The cupboard is not bare. It's just some of the situations is just a little different. I like the hire. I always like Brian Callahan. If AJ knows, you know, based off our personal conversations, you know, I'm not saying this is a slam dunk hire, but it's a good hire. But I am surprised that this is the first domino that fell in the coaching.
Yeah, same.
Man, I think this hire makes all the perfect sense in the world. I think this hire is a result. It tells me one thing, that Will Levis is their guy for right now until something else better falls in their lap. And they want to kind of get all the catch about that ball and to see what they got before they try to make future plans. So do I think this is going to help the Titans passing game? Yes. I think this is Will Levis, I think this is a real coach. I don't think that Will Levis was put in a position last year and he can really flourish. Don't get no disrespect to Vrabel, but Vrabel's more of a defensive guy. And so I think this is going to help him a lot. My only prayer is that they continue to don't lose their identity in Tennessee, continue to run the ball. That was kind of my only critique of Cincinnati last year, is that sometimes they have a tendency to get away from the run. I don't know if that's all on him, if that's on the head coach or whatever, but that's my only critique. So if this hire, in my opinion, can help Will Levis, I think, and he can hire a decent staff. Definitely, his first point should be hiring a good defensive coordinator, because I think Titans were one of the worst secondaries in the NFL last year. So as long as he gives them a good defensive staff and they continue to utilize the run and develop Will Levis, it's a good hire. Yeah,
I like it. Like I said, I want to see what he does with his staff. Like I said, we want to see what some of the relationships that he had around the league, based off, like I said, being a son of a former coach. Let's see who, like I said, who he can hire. It's a lot of coaches out there, a lot of decent coaches out there. That's not that they may not be out there now, may be out there later. Like you say, it's some things that we can see. They may go the college route, may go a different unorthodox route. We will see. That's the thing. Like you say, we will see. And like you said, so let's go.
And one thing, I like I said, with his name, this is one of the things that I wanted Zach to do. But one of the things that I like for first-time head coaches, especially if he plans on being a play caller, I want to see who he brings in as his defensive coordinator. Because to me, this would be the time to bring in a defensive coordinator who, like I said, who has maybe some head coaching experience, and you could just bring him in. Just you are the CEO of the defense. We got the offense over here, and that just takes another thing kind of off of his plate, where he doesn't have to kind of worry about that former head coach kind of has some personnel, experience, some ideas of, hey, well, this is what I want to do as, a defensive mind. And then let's just kind of do this. And then, he has that rapport with him. So I'm interested to see how that goes too.
How hot as a defensive coordinator is Wink Martindale?
I think Wink, there's some rumblings that people want Wink, and I think a lot of times Wink is a good, start. He's a good starter pack. I think that's the good, NBA 2K starter pack, athletic wing that you want to bring in, because what he gonna do? He's gonna be like, he's gonna bring pressure, and it's very high risk, high reward. But when you kind of just getting started, and you kind of trying to find your way, hey, you're gonna get turnovers, you're gonna get your ball, and then one of the things that he always does when those teams that have weak secondaries, which the Titans have had some issues with in their secondary, you bring that pressure, it's going to help your secondary out. And he may wear out his welcome later on, but you can start getting pieces in early. So it's like, all right, cool, hey, cool, it's time to go now, Wink. But thank you for your service, dog.
Tip service.
I'm just saying, I like you said, but that would be a good slam dunk hire for the moment, Let's go with my guy Jay Suggs. Is Pete Carroll done coaching? Think a team will reach out to him and will he go there? Example, Pete to the Panthers. I mean, he said he wanted to still coach. He didn't want to lose the job in Seattle, but I don't see anybody reaching out to him, because they could. Why haven't they reached out to him? You know what I'm saying? They have all the opportunity in the world to reach out to him. Why haven't they done it?
I think Pete gonna coach again, man, but it won't be the Panthers. The Panthers need somebody with an offensive mind that can help develop Bryce Young. They got too much invested in him. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Pete Carroll go back to the college level.
So I definitely don't, with this new college landscape. Yeah. Pete is not going back to college, dog. Not at this big age he at, my boy. With Pete saying he wants to coach again, and Pete being 70-something, and this Panthers job being a job that normally a black running back coach would have to take, I would actually say this is a good job for Pete Carroll, because guess what? Don't nobody want this job. So, hey, go ahead, get your last little payday. Go ahead and see if hey, you're going to be the bridge to the next guy anyway. So, hey, try and see if you could just catch lightning in a bottle and say, look, okay, guess what? Because, look, the Panthers don't have a first-round pick, do they? I don't believe so, because that's in Chicago. Do they have a second-round pick? They might. They don't?
No, they do. I take it back. They do.
Okay.
They do.
Okay, so it's a very bad situation. The owner can't hire head coaches. He's proven that. The talent there, it's some, but this ain't something that I want to hang my hat on if I'm a hot offensive coordinator and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Carolina, because guess what, it's not looking good. So to me, this is an opportunity for Pete Carroll to kind of come in, go out, build some sort of structure in Carolina and take a job that really don't nobody want. To me, if I'm David Tepper, I actually would kind of make this call at AP. Look, quid pro quo, baby. You scratch your back, you scratch mine. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, don't nobody want this thing. You want to coach it, you got Bryce Young. He's short like Russell Wilson was. He ain't 200 something pounds like Russell Wilson. Hey, but do a little something, kind of work your magic. You get some 4th round picks. That's the same thing you did to get the Legion of Boom. I got 1 4th round pick for you. Go find me an all pro, and you can kind of go out, on your shield.
But on the Pete Carroll subject, like I said, do we still think that Dan Quinn is getting the Seattle job?
I think he ruined that with that the way the defense played. I don't know. I don't know.
I was just about to say that.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. So if he ruined his chances of getting the Seattle job, why won't he get the Panther job?
Who, Dan Quinn?
Yeah.
Because Dan Quinn, what? Dan Quinn still, he ain't 70.
My thing is,
because why would he? Say it again.
Because
Dan Quinn hitches back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Would Dan Quinn hitch his name to that wagon? He's already left a bad taste in his mouth his last outing with the Cowboys. Like, would he really hitch his name to that wagon in Carolina?
Because that's his only option.
I'm gonna throw a name out there, and it's messed up that this is gonna be the name because I think highly of this person.
Mm-hmm.
Do not be surprised if Eric Bieniemy gets called for Carolina.
Yeah, I think we joked and said that.
Because he can't get no other job. And I think once Ben Johnson turned, I know just being down here in Charlotte, I know for a fact Ben Johnson's their number 1 target. Ben Johnson ain't coming to Carolina. He don't want to come down here.
He turned them down last year.
Yeah, he don't want to come down. They turned him down. He don't want to come down here to this mess. Do not be surprised that out of desperation they try to go get Eric Bieniemy. I do know just from the radio shows and kind of listen to the podcast stuff down here. I know they just hired Dan Morgan as their OC and president of football operations. They want an offensive mind here. It's messed up because I hate to see this brother done like that. I don't know. Maybe it'll come out later that he's done some stuff that we don't know about. But don't be surprised that Eric Bieniemy gets the call there here in Carolina.
But they don't have to go that. They don't have to go the Eric Bieniemy route. They already have a black offensive coordinator in house. If they want to just hire a black offensive coordinator,
no. I still think
I think
they want a fresh start. They want all fresh voices. They trying to clean house with the people that's in the house.
Hey, you can want I want to dunk.
No, don't get me wrong. But my thing is, with the new coach coming in Washington, if Eric Bieniemy gets let go, his best chance to be a head coach, not an OC. I think his best chance to be a head coach would be Carolina. Now, if he wants to go somewhere to a more established program and be an OC, I think there's at least a handful of teams that will welcome him with open arms. Yeah. But I think his last and best chance right now for the 2024-25 season to be a head coach is Carolina.
But my thing about when we about to move on, my thing about Dan Quinn, you said he put a bad taste in his mouth. That's why he may not get a head coaching job. And we already considered this is the worst job. So he's interviewed for this job multiple times already. So if he understands that, hey, I may not get it. If I don't take this job this year, I may not get another
chance.
Job.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking at it. So he may just take this job. And I don't think the cupboard is so bare that this job is just so damn bad. Like it's just bad. I think Frank Reich did that bad of a job. That's why it looks so bad. But I don't really think it's that damn bad. Like Tepper is terrible. Don't get me wrong. He's terrible to work for based off what he's been doing. But it's not. We've seen worse jobs. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, absolutely.
We move on.
Absolutely.
We've seen worse jobs, and we've seen the turnaround be way better than this.
Absolutely.
and be quite honest, they could trade Brian Burns. And get
they got a couple pieces they could trade.
I kind of honestly think that's what you need to do anyway. I think you need to trade Brian Burns because you need to get that. You need to get that first round draft pick.
But they missed the boat last year. They could have got 2 first round picks of Brian Burns last year. They held on to him. Yep. They will never get 2. They'll get a first, but they won't get. They won't. The price tag ain't as high as it was last year.
I'm about to say, they won't get 2 like they were about to get for the Rams. Yeah. All right, but let's go back, man. We had a divisional round playoffs this week. Let's start off in chronological order. We had the Ravens setting the tone versus the Texans. First half, the Ravens looked exactly like a team coming off a bye week. You know, they looked a little rusty. They look a little iffy. They let a punt return, go to the crib. They went into halftime, tied up. It was like, okay, this Texans team is for real. They scrappy. Yeah, D'Amico got these boys balling. CJ out here. And then the Ravens say, hey, look, bro. Big flop.
Cream going to always rise to the top, man. That Ravens defense, I swear, I don't care who. Somebody hire Mike McDonald, please. Like, I just want him anywhere but Baltimore, please, because he one of them, man. That was like bringing him from Michigan. That was a beautiful hire, man. Because once he got there, their scheme, like it confuses everyone. The only thing that I've ever seen, like, the Ravens really could have went undefeated this season. If you actually look at the games, like every game that they lost this season was like one of those.
They fought.
Y'all lose that. Like it was one of those. Like, how did y'all lose that? It wasn't just like they went out there and a team just like, oh, they were the better team today. Nope. Every single game that the Ravens lost should have been a win, and like it was mind-boggling. That's how good that this team was, and this team they played so disciplined. For them to to have the athletes that they have, it was just like, God damn, nobody's over pursuing. They trying to throw trick plays and double reverse screens and Kyle Hamilton, man, like that was a hell of a draft pick. I remember that 1 year, like the play in college that Kyle Hamilton made that made him a surefire first round draft pick was against Florida State, where he went from one hash all the way to the opposite sideline and made a sideline pick. And I was like, oh, that motherfucker go. And then like Baltimore Ravens fashion, he just kept dropping. I'm like, no. They got him. So yeah, man, that goddamn that Ravens team, they're tough. And like I said, like I was actually having a debate with someone on Instagram today. Someone said Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen don't make their players better. And I can't think that is even more farther from the truth with Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson makes that entire offense better. Every single player on that offense. Let's not forget, they brought off Devonta Freeman off the couch. All these running backs that they bring off the couch, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, they make them 4 yards per carry runners. Lamar Jackson has never had a number one receiver in his career. But people will tell you, they gave him Marquise Brown. Yes, Marquise Brown had 1,000-yard receiving season with him, and then Odell Beckham Jr. He been cooked. He got new ACLs. Yes, Zay Flowers. They drafted Zay Flowers, but he 5'6". You know what I'm saying?
Zay looking like he's gonna be one of them.
Zay's looking like he's one of them, but I don't even know if it wasn't with Lamar, would he be a true, like, just drop him in any offense, he'd be a number one. I think it's because of the gravity that Lamar Jackson possesses, those quick routes, those things, because so many people have to stay home to keep eyes on Lamar Jackson, because he don't even be wanting to run, but sometimes like, all right, dog, like, fuck it, I'm out. And that's just so dangerous, because he runs like a number one receiver. He runs like a lead running back, and he just be out there throwing darts too. So I think he makes that offensive line better. Like when he had that second touchdown, and Ronnie Stanley's just out there just blocking, and he basically got a two-way goal. Like, do I want to cut it to the outside and beat him, or do I want to just cut it up to the inside and just go ahead and run to the end zone? It's just, yeah. So man, this whole team this is a very tough team to beat, unfortunately.
Now I'm gonna say this, and I kind of, not to piggyback too much off what AJ said, I have never seen a player so dangerous. And he makes every other player dangerous, and it normally wouldn't be dangerous on any other offense. Like, he forces you to play zone defense.
He's an all-pro. He ain't got
you gotta play zone defense against Lamar, because you gotta keep eyes in the backfield. Because the moment you go man to man and them corners turn their back, or those linebackers get to splitting out, he's up the middle, he's going for 40 yards. But guess what? When you play zone defense, now he's picking you apart, throwing darts to Isaiah Likely. And I don't think people talk about it enough. He's down to his third and fourth string running back. He's down to his number 2 tight end. Like, he's made Isaiah Likely like an all-pro. He's the number 2 tight end. Mm-hmm. Like Zay Flowers, like you said, maybe in the future he will be on any other team. He's a number 2. He got Zay Flowers looking like easily could have been a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. Like, what dudes didn't pick Zay Flowers? Like, why y'all let him get to Lamar? Like, so I have never seen a player so dangerous that gets more hate and undeserved criticism than Lamar. Now, granted, you got to win the playoffs. This is a show me league. So I'll put it like this. If the Ravens lose in the playoffs, it won't be because the team beat them. It's because they beat themselves, or they made mistakes, or they made the critical errors that cost them the game. And another point, and I'll leave off this. The Ravens lead the NFL in sacks. Name me the big name pass rusher they got on their defense.
Exactly.
That's how you
Mike McDonald.
Yeah, that's how you know you got a legit defensive culture and a defensive coach is when you don't have you can have a legit fierce pass rush defense and not have one superstar pass rusher on your team. You can't name me a superstar pass rusher on the Ravens.
Isn't that easier though?
Easy what?
Isn't that easier as a defensive coordinator to generate a pass rush? Not saying that he got scrubbed because they're still not scrubbed, but for him to not have a generational pass rush.
I mean, every team in the NFL, if that was easier, it would be more teams in the NFL.
I can't agree with that because every team in the NFL actually don't have good coaching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And what I will say, they may not have one of those elite top tier pass rushers, but they got some guys. Justin Madubuike finna get paid.
Oh, he's a dog.
He's a dog because he's a dog. They have athletes, and the thing that they do have, they may not have the front 4 that is super, opposing and dominant. But then back there you got Roquan Swift making your quarterback hold the ball because he can get depth but still come crash down against the run. So he can do all that. You got Kyle Hamilton, who's an athlete like we just talked about. And let's not forget, they did all this against Houston without their best corner and Marlon Humphrey. So
and Patrick Queen. Don't sleep on Patrick Queen either, man. That was the truth.
But what I'm saying, when you have somebody like a Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Michael Parsons, like their attention goes to them. So these people are doubling, putting in chipping. They're gravitating towards those players. When you don't have those generational pass rushers, you're free to do whatever you want to do in your playbook. It kind of making his job a little bit easier. You got to do the job, but
right. You like, and that's what I'm saying. Like they still have to win, but they're so multiple in the ways that they can attack you and the things that they can do. I think teams really got to play them straight up, and that's what gives them the opportunity to kind of generate it from everywhere. I mean. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
I like how disciplined they are. Like, if you ever watch them play, they're never out of position, and especially in their rush lanes. They got so much rush integrity and gap integrity. They're never out of their rush lanes. Like, it's just a beautiful scheme, and the coaching sometimes, and coaching does elevate players.
Yeah,
like you could take some of these players and put them on other teams, and they probably won't have as much impact as they have this year. And so it kind of goes hand in hand with the scheme and the coaching. I think I call it a no-name defense where everybody just pull their weight and they just kick ass.
Like Clowney. Didn't Clowney just come in there and just look like he fit the Ravens?
Oh yeah.
They did every.
But he still didn't have double digits.
And that's another thing. Clowney been on like 3 different teams, but he finally get a good coach who knows how to utilize his skill set.
And all of a sudden,
and then he looked like the dude that was drafted number 1. Was he number 1 overall? I know he was like top out. He was number 1 overall, right? Mm-hmm. He like the dude that was drafted number 1 overall back out of South Carolina.
Living up to it, like you say, finally living up to some of his potential, like you said. But he's been on how many teams?
At least 3.
Way more than 3.
Yeah.
But before we move on, like you say, the Texans. They are. I hope they don't settle. They're a year too early.
Mm-hmm.
But now to the fact that they can actually go into free agency with the cap space that they do have, they can actually make some more moves. They can do some things. They got some draft capital still. They can make some things. This is a force to be reckoned with if they continue to move with a sense of urgency. We've seen some teams that, all of a sudden, hey, man, we made the playoffs, y'all. We know we're going to make the playoffs next year. And, of course, what happened,
I'll say this now. They are legit running back and maybe 2 or 3 defensive players away from being a team that nobody won't play going for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Next 10 years.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to play them this year.
So man,
right.
so the next game, what was the next game?
Was that the Buccaneers and the Lions?
No, that was the
it was the Packers 49ers.
Packers and 49ers.
Packers 49ers, yeah. Woo!
Yeah, I'll let y'all.
Yeah, man. The Packers 49ers, man. It was a solid game. I really was enjoying, you know, kind of what we saw from that Packers team. Like Jordan Love, he looked calm, he looked composed, and you know, it just kind of all fell apart. The defense was kind of holding their own. They definitely were frustrating the 49ers early on in that game. And you know, even though it was kind of just like a 6-7 game going into halftime, it just felt like, hey, the Packers are in this thing. And then they came out in that third quarter, guns blazing, and, you know, kind of had that 15-point quarter. And it's just like, okay, hey, really finna do this. And then the fourth quarter happened. And it was just like, oh, what is going on? And then I don't know what Jordan was doing on that last throw. What do coaches always say? Never throw across the field, across your body, across the field. And he did it. And that's exactly what happens when they tell you don't. That's why they tell you don't do that. That's why.
Happens.
That's it right there. That's it.
That's what happens when you got them strong arm quarterbacks that can make every throw. They really think they can make every throw. And then it's always that one throw that you be like, bro, what the was that? Like, and I mean, it came at the worst moment. I mean,
I think the worst thing could happen to Jordan, not Jordan, for Love, is that he got away with it. If you watch the last 2 or 3 games with the Packers, he made a couple of throws. He's been making throws the last couple of games where he's either throwing off his back foot, his feet aren't set, and he's getting away with it. And so what happens in a young quarterback, even though he's been in the league 3 years, he's a young quarterback. His first year is a true start.
First year start, yeah.
And what happens when you practice bad habits and they're successful, you don't ever correct your bad habits. There's nobody telling you correct your bad habits.
Got cocky.
Yeah, he was throwing his back foot for the last couple of weeks. And so you play against a real defense and a real coach. And again, I think the moment got too big. Like, he had a chance to go out there and do something that, granted, the number one topic of the discussion today was the Bills. But if Jordan Love would have pulled off that upset, we've been talking about the Pack, it would have dominated the airways, Jordan Love here. And I'm sick because that's like, how lucky can you be? You got certain teams that have been looking for a quarterback for 20 years, and they still ain't got it right, i.e. the Browns. They've been looking for a quarterback since I was a kid. They've been looking for a quarterback. The Packers had 3 the Packers have had 3 all-star quarterbacks in a row. Like, I think Jordan Love's a star. I think he's going to learn from this. I think he's going to get better, kind of like what D. Hill alluded to with the other team. As long as they don't settle like the Texans, as long as they don't settle and continue to build, they're the youngest offense in the league. Like, by far, they're going to be back. Like, I do not think for a second the Packers are not going to be back. They're going to be back. I think it's going to learn from this. I don't think the 49ers, with as much talent they got, eventually, like the NFL, they're going to lose some pieces. So I don't think they're going to be this dominant force for the next 5 or 6 years. The 49ers are going to make some. I mean, the Green Bay is going to make some noise, man. But I just wish he could. I know he wish he could have that throwback. He could have ran that ball. He could have threw it out of bounds and played for the next down. That play probably hurt me the most out of all the games I watched this year.
It was definitely painful to see at that moment. Like you said, you've been playing. I mean, the first interception that he threw, was tip, one of those, all right, man, it happened, But it was just one of those moments that it was one of those chess match games. Like you say, they was going at it. Like, I know what you want. We've been on the staff together. I know how you want to attack me. I know how I want to attack y'all. Like, how are we really going to, who's going to adjust first? Who's going to make the mistake? Who's going to capitalize from the mistake? And like I said, it's pretty much the epitome of playoff football, what you wanted to what you want to see in the game. Like I said, no matter who you was rooting for, no matter who, like what you had on the game, this is one of those games that you wanted to see. And did you want to see an interception in the game at the end of the, of course not. But I mean, hey, whoever team maybe if you were 49ers fan, you'd love to see it. I know they got the monkey off the back. They finally came from behind in the fourth quarter and got a win. That was definitely a tall task because they've been Kyle Shanahan definitely had a negative. What is it? Owen what? Like,
yeah,
it was Owen.
It was like Owen something. It was like he Owen them comeback wins was really they were evading him.
So seeing that, getting that monkey off your back, Purdy, who was playing horrendous the entire game, finally figured out, hey, like what we just asked for Jordan Love to do, just run it. Hey, that last drive, he like, if it won't there, I'm going to run. He had, like you say, he wasn't running all game, so like you say, he made the play. CMC did what CMC does. It's one of those things that they had a time. They showed some chinks in their armor, but who cares? They won.
They got the job done.
You know what I'm saying? You get the job done. That's championship pedigree. We find a way to win. On this point in the playoff, this ain't the regular season when you squeak by and you figured out these are the playoffs. This is one and done. Hey, I'm going to find a way to win. And what did they do? They found a way to win. Purdy was playing like trash the entire game, and his defense kept them in the game. Because when they was getting in the red zone, they really wasn't scoring. Packers really wasn't scoring. They could have put the thing away, and they could not. The defense did not allow them to. And when it was time to take over, to get the lead, they stepped up. That's complimentary football. That's team victory right there. That's what you want to see from your team. Like you say, like whoever you was rooting for, that's fine. But this is the epitome of complimentary football and a team victory.
I agree.
Yeah, definitely. So, 0-30 in comeback games.
I thought it was 0-30, but damn, that shit.
0-30.
It sounded crazy, but I didn't want to say it either because I'm like that's not right. I knew it was something. It was some crazy shit like that.
Now you can see why people were acting a little bit too crazy when it came to, oh, look what Purdy did. Oh, he's so clutch. I'm like, bro, when you 0-30 in comeback game, and this is the one, it's all understandable now, bro. Yeah. 0-30 is nasty.
Woo. Yeah.
You ain't next up on none of them.
Like, no, yeah. Like, all right. Next up, we got the Buccaneers and Detroit. My cousins.
What up, Doe?
Yeah, no. So, man, I'm gonna start this one off, man. Shout out to Detroit, man. I'm so happy because I know what it feels like. The same call that the Bengals had a couple years ago. After 31 years, the Cincinnati Bengals have won their first playoff game. To hear that call for the Detroit Lions, that was beautiful. And then to see them come back and get that other win, and now they headed to the NFC Championship game, man. All my people in Detroit, I told all my people, I took shots with my people in Detroit over on FaceTime, all of that. I told them, man, we playing Baby Money, we playing Payroll Giovanni, we playing Icewear Vezo, we playing all that up until February, man, because I want to see them go to the Super Bowl and I want to see them, do what we didn't do. But hey, man, they came out, they played hard. This was a great game. Also, like this was one of those entertaining games and one of those games like this is what I like to see in the playoffs. Like it's back and forth. Teams just they going forward, they making plays. And then just, one team, they make one or two plays and really hold it down. And that's what the Lions did, man. This was beautiful. I like to see this.
You can go ahead, Marcus.
Man, I'll say this, man. I love Mike T. And Mike T, my guy. I'll defend Mike T at death. But if there's any other coach in the NFL that I would run through a brick wall for or love to play for, is Dan Campbell, man. Like,
hey, man, dude, we're going to bite some kneecaps. we're going to play our ass off.
Hey, dudes was clowning him when he first came, boy.
AJ was
clowning him. They was clowning him when he first came. And like, I don't care what the message is.
I was like, hey.
And one thing I say, every good head coach don't have to be a great play caller, don't have to be a great coordinator. When you can motivate and lead men to make them rise and above their personal capabilities to believe in a common goal, you are a good head coach. And I don't think any other coach could get Detroit to where they are right now. I promise you, I want them in the Super Bowl. I hope to God they beat the snot out of the 49ers. Like, I want them in the Super Bowl. I feel like Cleveland before LeBron. Like, I feel like this city does like what name a city that deserves Super Bowl more than Detroit? Like, how many years of losing? I would lose my mind in Pittsburgh if we went that long. Well, Cincinnati. But at least y'all were in the Super Bowl. Like,
they trying to hear that. that shit.
Like these dudes ain't even slipped the playoffs in 30 plus years. Like I can't imagine. Right? Well, yeah, you can.
Who you talking to? Damn it.
And then there's so many good storylines. Like Jared Goff was pretty much sent to Detroit to die. Sean McVay came to LA and says, and matter of fact, Jared Goff got the Rams to a Super Bowl. Sean McVay came in and says, I do not feel like we can get over this hump with this quarterback. We want Matthew Stafford. We'll throw in. Jared Goff was a throw-in. You know how you fantasy football, when it's got to be an even number of players, so you just throw a player in to get them off your roster. He was a throw-in.
And a draft pick.
and a draft pick.
They paid the Lions to take him, basically.
And yeah, pretty much. So, and not only did he beat his former team in the playoffs, like, hey, middle finger to you, he has a chance to go to another Super Bowl with one more win. Like, man, there's not a better NFL. If they say NFL is scripted, they can't pay these script writers a bit more enough because this is the best script I've seen in my life. How can you not root? I mean, I guess unless you're a 49ers fan, how can you not cheer for Detroit right now?
I think, I mean, that's why I wanted you to go first because I know both. I mean, I can tell by the tone that y'all was gonna say enough about Detroit. And shout out to Detroit. Like, if there's nothing bad to say about Detroit, I'm happy for Detroit. Of course, I'm rooting for Detroit to get to the Super Bowl as well. You know, it's been a long time coming. So shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Todd Bowles.
Thank you. Yes, I was about to go ahead. I was gonna get to that. Yeah.
Go in because I'm with you on this.
You know, somebody that they said he couldn't coach. Somebody that said this team was tanking. Somebody that said that this team was dead in the water. They signed Baker Mayfield for for $1.99. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did a lot of things, and everything was Todd Bowles. He can't coach. Last year with Brady, what was that? Everything was a little wishy-washy. And then what did he do? They win the division. The division was trash. I get it. Somebody had to win it. Hey,
but then you won a playoff game.
Then you go to Philly. I mean, when Philly came to you and you handled your business. Hey, you showed up prepared for this game. Let's not make it seem like the preparation was the issue. It was finally the Jimmys and Joes was the issue. The Detroit Lions are just a better team than the Bucks. But hey, they were prepared. They was blitzing. The defense was showing up. The boys was hitting. Mike Evans showed up again. Like I say, the running Baker showed up. He had an interception early, but then he showed up. So that make it seem like you say, they just wasn't prepared. They wasn't motivated. Like I say, that's coaching.
Right.
He had them boys prepared and they showed up.
They were there.
What I hope ownership in Tampa Bay realizes is regardless of how that game ended, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team overachieved to get to the divisional round of the playoffs. Because a lot of people were kind of giving Todd Bowles hell about not calling that last time out and possibly getting the ball back. But hey, dog, y'all wasn't supposed to be there. Like, this ain't the same defense Tom Brady had. This like the offensive line, this ain't the same. This it's a different team than what Tom Brady had. And to get them over there, because this was supposed to be his lame duck year. This was supposed to be the year they was like, hey, cool. We can get you up out of here. We can, reset, rebuild. We're going to bring in Baker Mayfield just kind of for a little throw in, make it look like we competitive to the fan base. Oh, shit. We in the... The Jets are a cursed franchise.
We know, man. We know.
And the game came down to the last possession. I don't think people realize, don't get me wrong, Detroit by far was the better roster. But let's not, like you said, the game came down to the last possession. It was one Baker mistake from going down that field and driving. If Baker, kind of like how the Jordan Love situation, if he would have just took the check down or either threw it out of bounds and lived to play another play, it came down to the last possession. So it's not like the Bucks weren't in it. The Bucks was in it. And so, again.
Just wanted to just show him his love. Like I say, now, like I say, they had $80 million in dead cap, if I believe. If it, that's a lot of money in dead cap. Like, you're not even supposed to make moves like that. And like I said, to put out the roster that they did, the draft that they had again, like I say, this roster is, they got some free agents that they got to deal with in the offseason, and that comes in the offseason. But like I said, right now, like I say, Todd Bowles showed that he can at least coach this team. Now let's go ahead and give him some pieces. Let's go, obviously the division, who knows what's going on with the NFC South. But
They can literally come back and
they can win again next year.
Yeah, they can come back and win it again next year if they hits on their draft picks.
It's there for anybody to say something.
Yeah, they really got an opportunity to put a chokehold on this division. So yeah.
All right, man. We got the finale of the weekend. They had the Chiefs and the Bills yet again. This time it was in Buffalo. Bills Mafia showed up. You know, they were shoveling snow for the past 2 weeks. They were doing their thing, man. They showed out for their fans. They wanted, this first road game in the playoffs for the Chiefs, for Mahomes in his era. And yeah, same result. AFC Championship game for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I really. How long have we been saying, "Hey, Buffalo, y'all better get it done"?
But I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm checking it right now. You picked the Bills, right?
Yeah, I did because.
Okay, then explain why you picked the Bills.
Because I didn't want to see Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship.
The same reason everybody else picked the Bills.
I don't want to see him in the AFC Championship game, yo.
Hey, look, you don't have to explain it no further. I asked the question. Shit. That was the answer. Cool. Like you say, cool. Well, you know what I'm saying? And that's fine. Me and Kevin, we picked the Chiefs. And I just picked the Chiefs, but they the bully, bro. They the big bro. And until little bro decides to
Joe Burrow come back.
Hey, save that, my brother. They had opportunities to win this game. And just like in other games, they had opportunities to win this game. But it just doesn't with the curl just didn't curl.
They need a little bit more activator, man.
Now, let's get to. Can we just go straight to the end of the game? End of the last possession?
Yep.
So, the last possession for the Bills, it seemed like they were trying to milk the clock. Yeah. Am I right? Am I right? We both saying the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
So, if they were trying to milk the clock, trying to leave the Chiefs with as less time as possible, then, if that's the case, then why can't Josh Allen get any criticism?
Oh,
who can't criticize him?
Hey,
let me tell you something. The Bills, and I'll say this right now, and anybody who watched that game who want to be truly unbiased, the Bills were more scared of Patrick Mahomes than they believed in Josh Allen. If you go back, the Bills were more scared of giving Patrick Mahomes the ball back than they were letting Josh Allen go out there and win them the game. They felt the odds. If you go by numbers of odds, they said the likelihood of Josh Allen winning us this game with his final drive were less than Patrick Mahomes getting the ball back with 2 minutes left in a timeout and going for the go-ahead win. And it's evident by the play calling. And then they press. And I think regardless of what those, when you start hearing them, the players, they always talk about, well, I don't listen to the media, I don't listen to the outside noise. That's bullshit. They listen to it. Yeah. These players listen to it. And you can't tell me in that last drive they didn't get to Josh was pressing. Now, I think that play to the end zone, if he could step up in the pocket, if you watch the play, his foot got stepped on. He kind of dead legged the pass and it kind of dropped right there to Shakur in the back of the end zone. Yeah. Shakir in the end zone, he missed that one. But if you watch the second down, third down play, the second down play where he's scrambling, he misses Stephon Diggs on the crosser.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is the first down. You got plenty of time left. Why are you going for the home run? Stephon Diggs is on the crosser. You tell me that you don't like your odds of a linebacker chasing Stephon Diggs on a crosser, that you don't take it and get the first down? Cool. Play didn't happen. Shit happens. Move on. Third down, you got way they had trips left, and they had an over route with Dawson Knox, and they had Kincaid coming under that. Both of them, if you go back and watch that play, he had his option. Both of them are wide open. Mm-hmm. He decides he was more scared of throwing a pick and being talked about and being that Josh Allen throws picks in the big time moments than he was saying, hey, I trust my arm enough that I can make this throw and I'm going to get this touchdown. So guess what? They go for the kick. You live by the kick. You die by the kick. You live in your fears. And the kicker missing. I don't blame the kicker for missing that field goal. Like, it is what it is. But like I said, Everybody picked the Bills not because they thought the Bills were the better team, not because they thought that Patrick Mahomes, that they had the true home field advantage. You picked the Bills because you just got tired of seeing Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. You wanted somebody to beat him. The same reason we used to always pick against Brady. Nobody picked Brady to win the Super Bowl every year, but you knew they was going to be there, and you just got tired of seeing them. And that's the honest to God truth.
Okay, so you mentioned the dig route, and I'm gonna just comment for my guy Dane. Because Allen didn't trust Diggs on the underneath route because he dropped the pass early in the fourth quarter. That's what I think. What is your rebuttal to that?
What about all the times that, not all the times, but what about the times where Josh Allen targets Stephon Diggs and he throws a pick? Does Stephon Diggs still trust him to get him the ball? So to me, I don't like the whole he had a drop deep pass, so he didn't trust to go to him in the clutch moment. Who else? So you don't trust Stephon Diggs, so you throw a deep ball to Khalil Shakur instead? Nah, dog, I can't really see that. To me, you got if you want me to trust you that you can get me the ball even in the midst of your turnovers, and you want me to kind of give my all, I need you to continue to trust me. Yes. Hey, guess what? Outside of goddamn DeAndre Hopkins, receivers gonna drop the goddamn ball sometimes, man, and that's just what happens. And as I was watching, kind of like the replay of that, that deep pass, it wasn't just as like, just an easy in the breadbasket catch as you would expect. He did have to kind of come over the DB's head and stuff like that. I'm telling you, it should have been caught. I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't just like, he let him all the way down the field and he just catches it in stride and drops it in the basket. That's a play that your number one receiver should make. But once again, hey, if I'm supposed to come down with some of these tough catches, I should be able to have the cachet with you as well to get another shot. That's another thing that the greats do, regardless. Like I've seen like some of the great quarterbacks target their receiver, they drop it, and guess what? They still come back to him in that moment. And guess what? They've made big plays. They've scored touchdowns. They've done that. Like Jamar Chase has done it. We've seen Des Bryant do it for the Cowboys. George Pickens was about to get off the team. Guess what he did? Like, guess what he was doing? Same with Deontay fucking Johnson. They do it. Go to your guys. It don't matter. Play like we gonna fuck up, but I got you. I got you here.
Oh, prime example in that same game. How many passes has MVS dropped this whole regular season?
He caught one in it. Yeah.
MVS looked like DeAndre Hopkins on that field yesterday.
Didn't he lose him? Didn't MVS drop one in that Bills game in the regular season that hit him in the hands?
Yes. In stride, wide open.
So what I say, the greats will come back to you.
And I want to rewind, right? I want to rewind. And please let me know if I'm hating, because I didn't want to say anything till this moment.
Okay.
Everybody's alluding to the missed pass in the end zone when he tried to throw it to Shakur and he got hit, right? Now, Josh Allen has one of the strongest arms in the league. Yes or no, right?
The strongest arm.
That hit that he got did not cause that much of an underthrow.
Before you go too far, if you go back and watch it, it won't hit. His left tackle got pushed back. Shout out to Chris Jones. He did a great play. Mm-hmm. He stepped on Josh Allen's plant foot. He stepped on his left. If you go back and watch, he stepped on Josh's foot.
Thank you.
So he couldn't step through the throw. So
That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
But guess what? Guess what? If you take that underneath route,
you ain't got to worry about that.
You ain't got to worry about that.
No. Yeah. We understand. I understand the underneath route. I was just saying. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. He got the strongest arm. If he gets hit, that's a pick with his arm. It's going to end up being a duck. He threw a gutter ball, and I'm like, okay, but he got his foot stepped on. Okay, cool. I understand. Cool.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not here to bash Josh or think. I still think Josh is top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I would. Again, like that's not the question. I just think in the NFL's favoritism, you have quarterbacks that fit a certain agenda who they want to push. It's like when you're a marketing mogul, you got certain products you want to push, you want to put out in the forefront that's opposed to other. It's like in the Buffalo Bills lose, it's Sean McDermott, it's the defense, it's the injuries, and blah 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 blah. when Josh Allen has a good game when Buffalo Bills win, Josh Allen is the best quarterback on the planet. To me, like, I don't, if we're going to do it fair, call it fair. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like Josh, and yeah, he's a great player. Yeah, he had a great game. Like, let's not get twisted. If you go back in the totality of the game, you look at the numbers, Josh Allen probably outplayed Patrick Mahomes. But you know what the great players do? The great players, when their team needed the most, they find a way to win the game. And I don't care how many stats you put up. Nobody cares your numbers when you lose that game. When we look back 10 years from now and we look at the 2023 NFL playoffs, all we're going to know is the Patrick Mahomes and Kansas City Chiefs came into Buffalo on the road, and they were the underdog, and they got a win. So if you just didn't get the win, you didn't get the job done. It's not a knock on you as a player. It's just you didn't get the job done. So I'm not going to give you unfair praise where it's not credited, not warranted.
And I always bring my bad here. Let me just get this out because it's the same thing. Like when we talk about Super Bowls and stuff like that. Remember that Super Bowl where Brady beat the Rams? It was terrible. Like that game was ugly. It was like 13-3 or something like that. Yeah. He played terrible. It didn't look pretty. It didn't look like if someone who had never watched football, he was like, "Hey, that's the greatest quarterback ever, right there." And somebody was like, "Hell, for real?" But guess what? When he needed that seam ball up the seam to Gronk, guess what? He hit it. He made it, and that's what sealed the game for him. That's what won the game. And to me, that's what it comes down to. Hey, Josh, you played good, but you did not make the play when it counted. Mm-hmm. And you had the opportunity to. It's not like, they didn't get the ball and the Chiefs just ended up playing keep away to end it. No, you had the ball with a chance. You looking at that Embiid stat?
Absolutely. He got 59 to 3 quarters, bro. Like what?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Against Wemby. Somebody pissed him off about Wemby. I'm telling you right now.
Same shit he did against Jokic. He's like, hey, all right.
Yeah. Somebody said, hey, look, somebody said Wemby probably one of the best ever. He like, whoa, no. Because
too much tip on your chip.
59 in a game is too much. 3 quarters? Come on, bro. Cause who checking him? Cause I know it's not Wemby. He too little.
Slender man. Man.
Yo, Embiid is on. I'm telling you. I know we're not talking about basketball right now. He stay healthy. They get into the Eastern Conference Final. I'm telling you right now. They get into the Eastern Conference Final this year. All he gotta do is stay healthy.
And the beautiful thing about this is, like, opposed to other years, he's been sitting in the fourth quarter. So like a lot of these years, he's been having to play a large amount of minutes to try and keep this team afloat. Hey, big dog over there. Hey, he over there on the sidelines looking like Patrick Ewing with the ice packs in the fourth. Like, hey, I'm good.
So back
y'all. Before we move on to the next subject, I just want to give Patrick Mahomes his flowers. Sometimes he get enough flowers, but I got caught when I see it. To be in the NFL 6-7 years and played in the AFC Championship game every single year you've been in the NFL, and to be in the NFL this long, and this is your first road playoff win. Mm-hmm. Your first, like, you mean tell me that you've been the number 1 seed every single year you've been in the NFL except for 1 year, and this is your first road playoff win? Like, I want to capture this moment in real time, because this is one of them things that we'll wait 20 years to go down the line and we'll talk about it. Like, Patrick Mahomes is really, like, I don't think we realize what we're witnessing right now with a player. Like, this is unheard of type shit, in my opinion.
And can I take it not a step further, but like take a step back and kind of like underneath yours a little bit? Also, hey, give Big Red his flowers. He like what he's doing as a head coach to do it in Philly. And let's not forget, he didn't get fired in Philly because he was trash. He got fired in Philly because it was just like, hey, we just didn't get over the hump. He was getting them to NFC championship games, but they just couldn't quite get it over the hump. And they was like, oh, we're not running the ball and this and that. So with his resume is up there too as one of the greats to ever do it. Because again, like you said, we talk about Patrick Mahomes. This is his first road playoff game. Let's not forget, Patrick Mahomes inherited a 12-4 team with Alex Smith, with Andy Reid running the thing. So, And Andy Reid made Alex Smith look like his draft pick, like his draft stock, his draft, that number 1 overall. So let's not forget, hey, Big Red out here doing the motherfucking thing too. But somebody who, Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott.
I'm listening. Cause go ahead.
I'm curious.
I in no way, shape, or form do I believe Sean McDermott should be fired. To me, that should not be on the list of the list of items that the Buffalo Bills need to do this offseason. The things that the Buffalo Bills need to do this offseason is get younger. They need to infuse younger talent in this, into this team. But Sean McDermott should stay. I don't think this team lost because of Sean McDermott. And I understand that, hey, he's been there for so long and they just couldn't get over the hump. But I don't think those losses have been because Sean McDermott is mismanaging the clock. He can't do these things. Oh, this defense is super terrible. Sean McDermott, you are a defensive guy. You not holding up your end of the bargain on defense. I think that if they can just get things like they still will be a threat if they can infuse some more talent into this team. So I don't think Sean McDermott, this is the year to fire Sean McDermott, especially with what you have in Josh Allen right now. I think you still kind of want to bring that continuity back in this moment. It wasn't a collapse. I can't call it a collapse. No. I think Sean McDermott deserves another opportunity.
I think his best move of the year was changing offensive coordinators. If you watch the Ken Dorsey offense opposed to and his names keep slipping my mind. What's the new
Joe Brady?
Joe Brady. It's night and day with the offense. Let's be real. The offense looks way better under Joe Brady than it did with Ken Dorsey. Mm-hmm. They started running the ball. They didn't rely on Josh Allen to be Superman. I truly think, if I'm being fair, I think the Buffalo Bills are a pass rusher and another receiver away from being you really can't poke holes in their roster. I think they don't have really. They thought Von Miller could be that pass rusher. Von Miller, to be honest, Von Miller, my guy, he's done. He's done as being that guy. Can Von Miller be a complemental piece?
He done.
Yeah. Okay. So he done. I think they're a pass rusher and another dynamic receiver away. Now it's still got to be play call. It's still got to be situational football. I think that's Sean McDermott's biggest weakness is situational football and how to close out big games and how to play with a lead or play to keep from losing the lead. But I just truly I agree with AJ. I don't think he should be fired, but I think the OC needs to stay. Hope they don't make a change at OC. He's earned that job. Maybe a change at DC. I can see that maybe, but in my opinion, just looking at their roster on paper, and I think they're an edge rusher and another receiver away from being the best team in football.
But the moves that you just made, that you just said, they did that. They went all in last year. They went all in. They went all in last year. They made all the moves that we did a preview. We said, and I mean, in the meme said it. If they don't win it this year, when would they ever meet it? That was last year's team. They pretty much brought last year's team back. They even added Leonard Floyd this year. So they got the pass rusher that you asked for. And they didn't do anything. Now
they had some injuries on defense. Now they lost the second best linebacker in football.
They had plenty of injuries. Don't get it twisted. They had plenty of injuries. So if that's the excuse, it's not an excuse. That's an explanation. And the defense played way better, even under Sean McDermott's tutelage, than they did with Leslie Frazier with the injuries that they had.
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted about the job that he did. I think this might have been his best year, to be quite honest, with the team that he had, with the injuries that they had. But same thing as last year. You said, they need a receiver. They need another receiver. Their answer to that was, we're going to go get Dalton Kincaid. They went and got another secondary playmaker to go alongside with Diggs. They did this thing. They already went all in. Now, I get it. It might not have been the moves that maybe that y'all would have made or y'all wanted them to make, but they already went all in last year. And they ran it back this year. And they came up short. They can't run it back again.
No, I agree with you.
And if they go, if they listen to AJ and if they go younger, they get younger. It might necessarily be a rebuild. It might be a regroup, a retooling,
a reset,
which is fine. But at this point, like you said, some of his game manager thing that he does, like you say,
and it may not come out. We may not ever find out about it. It's something going on in that locker room. Like that whole thing was from the earlier year with Stephon and his brother making them tweets, get my brother out of there. I don't care what nobody say. My brother ain't tweeting that unless we having conversations on the side about what's going on in the locker room.
Man, your brother would tweet that shit. I know your brother.
Well, Jerry probably would.
He tweeting that shit. Don't lie to me.
I just when there's smoke, there's fire, and it's something that's not clicking in the locker room. I don't know if Stephon sees his prime years kind of wasted, and my thing is, I don't know if he takes accountability because he kind of had that same argument in Minnesota. So he won his way out of Minnesota and he got to Buffalo and everything was good and sweet for the first 2 years, and then kind of having the blow-ups on the sidelines and kind of like just the little petty stuff that wide receivers do. I'm a Pittsburgh fan, so I'm used to the petty wide receivers, and we might not ever find out about it, but it's something going on in that locker room.
But the locker room issues, right? Okay, when we came to Stephon Diggs, his eruptions on the sidelines, right? Before this year, they wasn't warranted. When he went to the sideline last year, when they lost to Cincinnati, and he was yelling at Josh Allen in that game, that wasn't warranted.
It's a time and place. It's warranted, but you don't do. My thing is, how the media is, especially sports.
If the quarterback did it, nobody would have had a problem with it.
Bro.
No. This is what I'm saying. I don't want you to say. Look, he's going to be wrong. He's going to be the scapegoat. He's going to be.
Absolutely, he is.
But don't get it. Now this year he took a step back. Even I got Jay Suggs. Diggs isn't the number one receiver anymore. We can leave that up for debate. We can say that hey, I'm not gonna say that he's off on this statement. He took a step back. But him yelling at Josh Allen,
it was warranted.
It was warranted.
But you also know in NFL, quarterbacks can do things that receivers can't do. Like, we're not going to sit here and be the moral police. Like, that's been the way the NFL for the last 100 years. A quarterback can yell at a player on the sideline. Receivers can't do that.
So I think I'm not sure if AJ said it again this year. He'd be like, did we see what? I know AJ said this before. We seen Josh Allen, how he looked before Stephon Diggs got here. Yeah. So if the answer is get rid of Stephon Diggs, please let me know what the plan is.
Oh, I'm not saying get rid of Stephon Diggs now.
But this is why instead of getting Dalton Kincaid, you actually should have got a different receiver, another way to get younger. Because even if Stephon Diggs isn't a number one anymore, he would damn sure be a top tier number two. And
Absolutely.
that would just give your offense that much more opportunity. Yes, you got Dalton Kincaid. Yes, he's a good receiving tight end, but he's not the difference between a number one receiver and a number one tight end is completely different. It's because the number one receivers can do a lot more with the entire field, taking the top off the field, taking, opening up the middle of the field for everybody else. Because guess what? Those two safeties, they got to stay back to protect the deep ball. You get that tight end, yes, that middle of the field, they're going to be open that, but you can, do things with linebackers. You can bracket a little bit, and they can still stay back in coverage and protect the, the deep halves of the field. That game-changing wide receiver, that does things. And having, Stephon Diggs on the other side of that would have done, wonders for them. Go ahead, Hill.
Now I'm looking at the draft last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the top receivers was gone by the time they drafted. Zay Flowers, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison. They were all gone before Buffalo picked. So the next best pass catcher on their board was Dalton Kincaid. And Dalton Kincaid did his thing this year. I get it. You would want another receiver. Now look, they can go this year and go get another receiver. I'm not mad. I'm not saying, but all I'm saying is we've seen Josh Allen before Stephon Diggs. We have not seen Josh Allen without Stephon Diggs.
The Kincaid draft told me two things. Told me one, they went into the offseason still feeling that Stephon Diggs was a top tier wide receiver number one, and that he can utilize the outside and they can move him around and they can do some things with him. It also told me number two, They wanted to reel Josh Allen in when it comes to his pass. They didn't want all of Josh Allen's passes to be down the field, fly go routes and post and nine routes. They actually wanted Josh Allen to be more of an intermediate passer. That's why, because if you want to be real, Dawson Knox is still a good tight end. So when they drafted Kincaid, it wasn't a position of need, it was a position of want for how they wanted to run their offense, where they wanted Josh Allen throwing more intermediate routes. And they wanted to reel him in and let Stephon be the deep threat option. And then you got like Gabe Davis is like the take the top off the field guy. He can't stay healthy. I doubt Gabe Davis is back in Buffalo next year. But they felt that they had enough on the outside with Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs that they drafted a position of want, in which Kincaid was probably the most dynamic playmaker. He wasn't the best, but the most dynamic playmaker in the draft at tight end, that they could give Josh Allen another weapon on the intermediate routes underneath. So that's what they talk about that draft.
But that's the thing. They wanted to tame Josh Allen. They wanted to tame him. They wanted to control him. You cannot tame Josh Allen. That's the problem. You have to let Josh Allen be Allen.
But that's another reason why, to me, in order to allow Josh Allen to be Josh Allen, give him multiple weapons that can, allow him to kind of take those chances instead of, because like we said earlier, they called that game against the Chiefs to protect Josh Allen from Josh Allen. Instead of saying, don't mess it up for us, Josh, have the requisite pieces around him to say, here, you got everything you need to go win it for us, Josh.
Go be a dog.
Now, I'm not vouching for Sean McDermott getting fired, but wouldn't this be the offseason to align him with an offensive coach that will allow Josh Allen to maximize Josh Allen?
I think I see what you're getting at. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think Joe Brady did a great. Like if you watch the Bills from the first few weeks when they had Ken Dorsey, that I think with the weapons they got, because like Cook, it's immediately as soon as that Joe Brady took over, Cook became a very dynamic and took some of the pressure off of Josh Allen that he didn't have to go out there and be Superman. Now I agree with you. For them to get over the hump, you're going to have to let Superman be Superman and live with the results. Just kind of like how Brett Favre with the Packers. Like, Brett Favre was always top 5 in interceptions every year he was in it. Well, not every year. Don't quote me on that. But you got to let a gunslinger be a gunslinger. You got to let him be a gunslinger. You got to live and die with the results. In order for him to do that, it's a multifaceted. It goes off what AJ said. They need multiple weapons on the outside to give him that freedom to be a gunslinger. You're not going to win a Super Bowl trying to make Josh Allen conservative and be a game manager. It's not going. The AFC is too good, and when you have the best player on the field, you gotta let the best player be the best player.
And what are most defensive coaches? Conservative.
You're conservative, very much so.
But
they don't match.
And I get that. They, you say that most defensive coaches are conservative, but aligning him with Joe Brady, and we see the change in that offense as it kind of progressed. That's one of the things that I'm saying, do it. And when we talk about, getting him, another receiver on the outside to pair with Stephon Diggs, if they wanted to get Dalton Kincaid, that is perfectly fine. But to me, there are other, like you have, what I always say, draft don't end in round one.
Nope.
So don't just get Dalton Kincaid and then rest on your laurels. Yep, we got him another weapon. Yeah, those top guys was gone, but it was still some dogs in that draft that you can go and say, look, well, shit, we got Dalton Kincaid, Stephon Diggs. Go give me Tank Dell. Go give me Jalen Highland, who runs a for some.
I'm
not even gonna talk about Puka because a lot like I was on Puka because that was my
that's your guy.
That was my combine sleeper. I'm not gonna talk about Puka, but you gotta look, man. Like it was some guys in that draft that was available for him, like Josh Downs, Tank Dell, Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyde, Marco Wilson. Those other guys that would be like, oh shit, we gotta cover him one-on-one. Worry about Dalton Kincaid over the middle, and you still got Stephon Diggs. To me, what did I say when everybody was telling me, hey, should we get Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase? I said, if we draft Penei Sewell, it'll make us a contender in the AFC North. If we draft Jamar Chase, it'll make us a contender with the KFC Chiefs. And that's what and they the big dogs. You want to compete with the big dogs, and that's what they should have did. Build your offense to beat the guy, like to beat the offense. That's what the name of this game was. So build it so you can put up more points. And then one of the things that I said, hey, with the way that the Chiefs have been playing this year, this is the time that, hey, go get them. This is the time. This was your time. And so if you would have really went for it and said, hey, let's make sure that we got all the requisite pieces where we can put up 35 a game whenever we need to.
The last thing I say about Joe Brady is just like, and I speak from experience, that playbook he's using, that offense, that's still Ken Dorsey's offense.
Absolutely.
He took over mid-season. Yeah. So
but you gotta be
fair.
Better feel.
Or better if you give. I want to see Joe Brady with a whole offseason to implement his playbook, his calls, his audibles, his offense.
Yeah.
Because so he's still calling plays out of Ken Dorsey's playbook.
Yep.
I want to see Joe Brady with his offense implemented and his stuff.
So this is my thing. Let's say they run it back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they make the playoffs again. They have a good offensive season. Joe Brady's going to be considered for a head coaching job. Then he's going to leave possibly.
Yeah.
Then you're stuck with what? Finding another coordinator that can help Josh Allen, or with the candidates that they have now, you could align him with somebody that you potentially going to have there for the next 5 years.
And then they come in and be a Frank Reich, and then the whole team look like shit, and then now you really in some trouble.
I say this: it's from the outside looking in. It sounds so easy just to bring in another coach.
Also, always,
it is. Bringing that coach.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're gonna keep the ship afloat, and it hardly ever works out that way. So it's kind of like how the Mike McCarthy, and I defended Mike McCarthy his job is because if you got a coach that you're constantly in the playoffs, you're constantly you're always in the conversation of winning your division. You're always in the conversation of getting a home playoff game and being the top one seed or in the conversation of the top one seed.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just, unless you got a surefire guy that you just truly believe in, you don't just say, hey, we're going to get rid of this guy because he ain't getting us over the hump. It works out sometimes, i.e. the Eagles, but it don't work out sometimes, i.e. the Carolina Panthers, where they let a coach go who got them to the playoffs or had them on the verge of the playoffs and had 9 wins, and they go to being the worst team in the NFL because they thought the shiny new toy was going to get them over the hump.
I mean, like you said, you brought up McCarthy. Like you said, I didn't want to, but like you said, you got somebody that they've been considered. The Bills have been considered contenders for what? For the last 3 seasons?
And coaching, that's coaching.
Okay. Now, at half of the way, I'm playing devil's advocate, to be quite honest. Like I said, I believe the fact that they got to the number 2 seed with the season that they had, with him almost getting fired mid-season.
Mm-hmm. And remember, they got the number 2 seed after being like a loss and being out of the playoffs.
Bro, from being fired mid-season, he almost got fired.
Dog, they were behind the Pittsburgh Steelers in the hunt, and they won with the last 6 games. We squeaked in. And they won the last 6 to get the number 2 seed. Like, that got to count for something.
It does.
They got to count for something.
I'm just saying, this is the moment. It's more moments, so we see.
But boy, his seat gonna be hot next year, though.
Oh, absolutely,
hot like lava.
AJ, the floor is yours, my brother.
All right, so there's a good chance the touchback rule for fumbling through the end zone will be changed this offseason. Momentum behind the NFL correcting it. The penalty considered by many to be too harsh for basically calling this play a touchback. I think this would be an utter mistake by the NFL if they change this rule. To me, it's only like, I understand you promoting points, you promoting offense, but this ain't got shit. One, this ain't got shit to do with player safety, and also hold on to the fucking ball if you don't want to fumble the ball into the end zone. Like, it's a reason Bill Belichick will sit you down on the bench for the rest of the season if you extend the ball in the end zone, because guess what? It's a touchback. Don't do it. Allow yourself to live another day and run a play. And once again, also, if we doing this to give the offense another bit, like, so shit, let's just get rid of the safety too. If you get if you get tackled in the end zone, hey, bring it back to the goal line. Make sure that, hey, no 2 points, no punting the ball back off to the team that got the safety, none of that. Just, hey, my bad, dog, put it on the 1 yard line and give you another chance so we can just get some more points. No, like there has to be something that the defense is allowed to do. They already can't touch the receivers past 5 yards. You already can't bump into the quarterback. You all like it's so crazy that an offsides is a 10-yard penalty, but a false start is a 5-yard penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive pass interference, that ain't like
it's 10
like
yards, man.
It's 10 yards, but I get a spot foul. You could just throw a Hail Mary just cuz. And if I'm like trying to go for the ball and you think that I've interfered, you get the ball 60 yards downfield. You already putting me at a disadvantage. Now, if I actually make a play on the ball while this receiver, like while this ball carrier's knees aren't on the ground, no body parts on the ground, and they extending it to go get 6, I can't knock it out and then get my team the ball back. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is a terrible. This would be a terrible rule change.
I don't want to be a hypocrite because I used to be on the camp that says this rule got changed. And more than likely, the reason why I was on that camp is because I don't know if you remember a couple years back.
Yep.
This happened to Juju. Juju, we had a chance to win a big game for the playoffs.
I remember.
Juju got hit, fumbled through the front end zone, touchback, blah, blah. But, so that's my bias. I'm going to be real. I was biased as hell on that one. But I was in a group chat, and I thought about it. Every damn rule in the NFL is set up to favor the offense. You can't even land on a quarterback. You have to – I've never seen it so hard for a defender to be a defender in the NFL where if you sack a quarterback midair, you need to make sure you turn and roll to make sure that you don't put your body weight on the quarterback. You can't hit him below his knee. You can't hit him up high. You got to hit him in the midsection. It's literally impossible. If you're a cornerback, I'm gonna tell you something. Besides quarterback, the hardest position in the NFL to play is cornerback. Like you can't even look at the receiver, and God forbid you put a shoulder in his chest when he go up and catch a pass. You're gonna lose your game check, and then you're probably gonna be sit down for 2 or 3 games. So I think it's so many rules to favor the offense. I had to kind of pull myself back. You know what? Hell no. You don't reach the ball out across the end zone. That's the only time you reach the ball across the end zone if it's a 4th down play and you got to have it. 4th and goal play, you got to have it. You never reach the ball. Like you said, Bill Belichick will sit you for the whole season if you do that. Everybody knows this is one of his sticklers. So I kind of flip-flop back to the more logical camp to say, hell no, don't change this rule.
Think about it like this before you go here.
I
think about it like last year for me. Just imagine for the fumble in the jungle, Tyler Huntley reaches over the pile, the ball goes in the end zone instead, and instead of Sam Hubbard running it back, we recover, and they're like, oh nah, put it back on the 2-yard line, and then they get another play. What? Yeah, but then guess what? So here's my thing. What if that receiver fumbles it into the end zone, and they play it like in their own team recovers it within a certain time period? You are allowed to fumble forward, and they can recover that, and it's a touchdown, right? Am I mistaken, or am I tripping?
Now, the rule is if the fumble is through the back, if it goes through the end zone,
through the back of the end zone. But I'm just saying, why does it have to go like out of bounds or through the end zone? And now it's a touchback. No, now it's like they get possession. No, because that's a part of the game. Don't fumble. If it goes into the end zone, it can be recovered, and those things can happen. Don't fumble the ball. Hold on to the ball. That's like ball security not a part of the NFL football game, right?
Absolutely. That's fundamentals.
Absolutely. 4 points of pressure, right? We all learned that in football. 4 points of pressure.
The thing about, like I said, y'all said everything that I wanted to say. I would say the part that really pissed me off about it, though, the moment that play happened, all of a sudden we instantly get the notification that this rule is going to change. That just adds to the fact that some of the people that think that the game is rigged or it favors.
There's an agenda for some.
We all have Bleacher Report. When that play happened, a few minutes later, we get a notification, boom, from Bleacher Report that this rule change may be a possible rule change.
I got another example. Tyreek Hill with the hip drop tackle. the 2 seconds after that dude made that tackle, I forgot what game it was. Tyreek Hill hurt his ankle.
The Titans, wasn't it?
It might have been the Titans. I don't know. I can't remember. Hip drop. It might have been the Titans. 2 minutes later, that's going to be a competition where they're going to try to ban the hip drop tackle because and let's get it. I'm an economist at heart. It's all about money. The NFL is statistically proven that they care about the money. They want to see high scores. They don't care about defense. And and like I said, Sean said about the betting, it's all about the money. They want to see the best players on the field. So they're going to. Unfortunately, the unbeneficiaries of this everything is always going to be defenders. And like I say, that's why you got so many kids now when they're playing college ball. They don't want to be a corner or safety no more. They want to be a receiver. They want to be a tight. Like nobody wants to be a corner or a safety anymore because the rules don't benefit you. Unless you're a top 5 corner, you're not getting top pay. The 10th best receiver make what the best corner make. So it's kind of like
so. Did you know there were 26 receivers that had 1,000 yards this season?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
20. I believe there were 26 receivers that had 1,000 yards this season.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So just think about that. And my thing is, this is what you wanted. But damn, like, at least allow it to kind of be something. You can't. The defenders can't protect the middle no more. Like that's not even an advantage where it's just like, okay, y'all can do what y'all want, but come over this middle, you're getting your head knocked off. Like we can't touch the receivers. We can't hit them while they up in the air trying to catch the ball. And then we can't hit the quarterback too hard.
I bet you they won't outlaw that fake slide that Josh Allen did. I bet you they will outlaw that. I bet you they will outlaw that.
So I know, like they outlawed it in college when Kenny Pickett did it.
Yeah,
I actually don't know. Like I'm still on the fence if that was a fake slide or not because it looked like he was like trying to juke, but then he was like, "Hey, they not really."
He did the slow pitter patter lean, and then he kept going. He knew that we want to get that flag.
At that point, they gonna have to send out. They gonna send out a memo like, "Look, come on now, like, come on." Now.
I don't think that they'll change. I don't think that they'll make a rule, but I just think, I'm not sure. This would be terrible if they allow this to happen.
Hold on, what?
What
is going on today with the big?
Oh, with Cat?
Cat got 53. Stop playing. Cat got 53.
Oh, they want us to talk about basketball so bad.
so bad.
They like, y'all better hurry up and get to some basketball.
I gotta check my ESPN app. Cat got 53.
Yeah, but okay. Are they the first game? It don't matter if they the first game or not. Let's get to it. Like you say, we've been enjoying ourselves. I would just say that. Like you said, so y'all gotta go. But like I said, let's get to it. We have the Lions and the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Now, if I know we had a tick for tat about statistics when it came to that, but if you go, I'm gonna send it to you personally. These offensive numbers are very similar for these teams, and the defensive numbers, quiet as it kept, are very similar. Like I said, I know the narrative is that the Lions defense is just trash. Their secondary is just trash, and the 49ers is just legit. This is the legit defense, the number one defense, and yada yada yada. Okay.
You can pass on the 49ers too now. That's what
you can always pass. Like,
you can pass on the 49ers too now.
That's the part. I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm not gonna go on a rant.
No, I'm gonna call a spade now.
But I mean, hey, if you listen to Kate Bandit fan friend, Reese has been telling you about the secondary. You could pass on them, but hey, they that's tomorrow. So y'all tune in tomorrow when they preview the game in full in depth. But this is going to be a game. I'm not sure what people think what's going to happen. I'm not sure if they thought what was going to happen against the Packers. Like a lot of people, I seen a lot of people say, yeah, Packers beating the Cowboys was fool's gold. They about to get smacked around by the 49ers. You can show them who they really are. They had an opportunity to win that game. The Lions are playing with. I don't think they believe they playing with house money. I believe they believe they belong.
Yep.
So I'm not. I believe that this is going to be a game.
Hey, man.
First off, they gonna stop the run. And if they stop the run, that means playoff Purdy gonna have to put this team on his back and throw the rock. Can he do that with the hobble Debo that's possibly won't play this game?
If Debo don't play, I'm gonna tell you right now, and you can quote me at this, and I apologize if I'm wrong. If Debo don't play, Lions win this game.
All right.
You can quote me on that. If the Debo don't play, Lions winning this game. Man, I don't want to say I don't want to jinx the Lions, man. I don't want to jinx the Lions. But
it's not a jinx.
I think the Lions have the better quarterback. I think the Lions. I think it's a wash when it comes to the receiving core. I'll take Amon-Ra over probably anybody on the 49ers receiving core. I think the running games, I mean, of course, Christian McCaffrey, but don't sleep on Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Mm-hmm. And offensive lines are equal pretty much. The Lions got probably one of the top 3 offensive lines. 49ers got good offensive line. This might be under low-key one of the most evenly matched games left in the playoff slot. And I think people are kind of looking at the names on the side of helmets thinking, oh, this is going to be a blowout. This might be down to a field goal to win the game in the fourth quarter type game. Like, don't be surprised if this game comes down to a fourth quarter kick or even an overtime kick.
I'm putting the parlay on the 49ers just so they can't lose.
Oh, you know
putting all my money on the 49ers. Get your ass right up out of here. Go ahead, Detroit.
You know what type time I'm on. You know I ain't gonna hit the parlay. I mean, King might hit the parlay, but we ain't talking about that, right?
Yeah, for this game, I think it's actually gonna be a really good game. I think it'll be a really good game, even if Debo does play, because, like you said, you know, this team's. I think if you just kind of look past, you know, the names, I think these teams match up pretty well with each other. And I think Ben Johnson, he's been doing just as good offensively as Kyle Shanahan does when it comes to calling the game. And I think what Dan Campbell brings in aggressiveness is kind of like what you see when that, you know, that team, you know, like a college football upset, where it's just like, fuck it, we here to win. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, like I know we have said it on this podcast. Hey, when you play not to lose, you're losing.
Yep.
And Dan Campbell is going out there every single time to play to win. And I think that's really going to, you know, play in his favor, because I think that's going to keep his team aggressive. I think they're going to, you know, come out, they're going to want it. They know they're the underdogs, you know, they're going to cut, they're going to put it all, lay it all out there, because this is their opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. And I think that they'll be playing, they'll be playing hard. And Jared Goff, hey, when it actually comes down to it, Jared Goff has been in this position. Jared Goff is experienced. He's been in this situation where it's an elimination game to go to the Super Bowl, and he succeeded. So I think, you know, Jared Goff has the experience. I think he is the better quarterback at this point in time, as Bruce has mentioned. So, hey, I think it's going to be tough, and I think that they're going to give the 49ers everything that they can handle.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that the fact that if he can play clean football, like I say, if he can play clean football, and I'm talking about Jared Goff, they can they have the opportunity to exploit some of the mismatches or the weaknesses that the 49ers have. They have an excellent offensive line. Hopefully that Frank Ragnow is he's banged up right now, but he is going to play. The left guard.
The left guard, right?
No, that's the center. The left guard, he has some injuries as well. And I don't think that he's going to play. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they still have other, you know, top-notch pieces at their offensive line. I think they can handle their front four. I think Steve Wilkes is going to have to do some things differently to attack this team. I don't think that he can just rely on his front four. And it's like, you know what, just go get him, Nick Bosa. I don't think that's going to work.
That offensive line too good.
Nope. You gotta bless him. You gotta bless him.
And at the same time, I'm not sure if people are making enough fuss of Aiden Hutchinson is on a tear. Like, he's reminding you of that why he was the second overall pick. He's looking like he's reminding you of Max Crosby. He's looking like a wild version of TJ Watt. Like, he's running around and he's causing havoc. Like, so if he's not going against Trent Williams, they're going to have some trouble.
Colton McKivitz, ain't it?
Yeah,
that's what we'll be going against.
But at the same time, the pedigree of the experience of the 49ers been here. They've been here multiple times. They have the better team. I understand that Debo may not play, but with the week off of no Debo, Jawan Jennings can step into the role and he can play a role. They can find some things for Ray McLeod. They can find some things for the other playmakers to supplement the loss of a Debo. This is going to be a game like those games that we grew up on, those NFL film joints that we used to watch back. Mm-hmm. This is going to be one of those ones. Like I said, it's going to come down to who can make the less mistakes. Let's say that. Mm-hmm. And whoever makes the mistake, who can capitalize the mistake. I know that sounds cliche. I get it. Cool. Some things are clichéable. No.
I think for the Lions to win this game plan wise, is if I'm devoting all my energy to stopping C-Mac. Anybody else on this team can beat me, but I'm not. I want Brock Purdy to beat me. If he is who they say he is, he going to prove it to me. I'm devoting all my resources to putting guys in the box, stopping C-Mac. And if Brock Purdy beat me on a one-on-one on the outside, then damn it, he beat me. He's a better quarterback. But I'd be damned if I let C-Mac run over top. Like I want to see Brock Purdy win the game throwing the ball.
That's one of the best things they do. They run defense is one of the things they hang their hat on. But at the same time, on the flip side, can the 49ers stop the run? See, that's the thing. A lot of people don't run on them.
Yeah,
but they can't stop the run.
They can't. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Detroit will run the ball because they will throw David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs at you. Yep. And so just as they'll throw Christian McCaffrey at you, Detroit and Dan Campbell, he will pound the rock. And they have the offensive line to really push them boys around too.
Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones had 100 yards. I think he had 18 for 108.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron Jones was doing this thing last week.
So and a lot of people, like I said, once again, because they normally get out of the lead, they normally get to a lead, they normally get you out of your run. Like I said, they can't really stop the run. Like the defense has some weaknesses, like I said, but they can if they can implement their game plan, if they can be who they are, they can control this game. The 49ers can win this game. I'm going for the Lions. So I'm going to pick the Lions. You can call it whatever you want to. I know they're gonna call me a hater because whatever, George. I'm going for the Lions.
Me too.
That's my pick. AJ, who is yours?
I'm rooting for the Lions, but I'm gonna
go. Who you put money on?
I'm putting money on them.
I'm putting money talk. I don't want to hear what you want to win.
I'm putting money on the 49ers. Like I give up that 20.
Hold on. I don't know what you mean. The money, our money don't talk.
Okay. It don't. It don't. Not when it comes to these parlays.
Yeah, these parlays. So you may not want us to bet on the 49ers. That's really what we said. Hold on, before we move on, let's just tell me the comment. It's all okay Kyle Shanahan not blowing it with play calling like he does in these type of games. That is true. These big games, you don't become 0-30. With coming from behind for a reason. Like something is on you. So 0-30 is wild, bro. I don't even know how you can do that. Like I think it's a mistake to count the Niners out. We remember what happened when some people did that to them earlier this year. I don't think we counted them out, Dane. I don't think we counted them out. Yeah, I don't think we counted them out.
I don't think we're giving enough credit to the Lions as being a good team. Like we're still looking at the Lions and they're not supposed to be here. And I think that's far from the case.
I think it's a new day and age, 2024 at this point. Things change. The 49ers lose, it would be on the coach. They are the favorites and should be. Okay, you consistent. You don't like Kyle. The Niners got Jordan Love to throw 2 interceptions in the divisional round. They'll bait Goff into throwing a pick, which is true. He'll get you
Goff got to play a clean game. Goff got to play a clean game. Let's not be real now. Goff ain't Mahomes. Goff got to play a clean game.
I hit this. I hit something. Okay. Oh, here we go. Where we go? Let's go to the next game. Oh.
Woo.
Yeah.
Woo. I'm torn on this one, boy.
I ain't torn.
Oh, I ain't torn. It's just I'm rooting for an AFC North rival. It's almost like it's the Brady effect. Is that you know who the favorites are, but it's kind of like to the point where you're tired of seeing them in the Super Bowl. Like I'll be honest, I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Y'all already did it. Y'all already gave the Chiefs their credit. You know, you showed them they love. You know, they Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. Y'all already did that. Y'all did. So I don't have to do that. Listen, they got lucky in the wild card round for getting to play the Dolphins at home in a freezer. They got lucky. Dolphins had no business playing at home. The Dolphins were definitely not equipped to play in that weather.
Right.
So they got lucky. They handled their business. I'm not taking nothing away from the Chiefs. The Chiefs go to the Bills. They handle their business. I'm not saying they got lucky playing the Bills. They just handled their business. They playing a defense that can handle them. This offense ain't really been clicking. Let's be honest. They just been fortunate. Like they have. What have we seen from the offense other than Pacheco? And you think Pacheco gonna run on the Ravens? You think Rashid Rice gonna handle the Ravens? You think not washed up Travis Kelce, but a down season Travis Kelce is going to dominate or do anything against the Ravens at home? This game might get ugly. This game might get ugly. I know y'all looking at me like I'm crazy.
Oh,
this game might get ugly.
No, I can see a scenario where it gets ugly.
Yeah, because offensively, the Ravens can they'll be able to put up points, even though the Chiefs defense is that's the calling card for this team right now. I think the defenses will cancel each other out, and I think the Ravens have just that much of a better offense and more options in this game. So I think it's going to be a really tough matchup. Everybody got to be on their P's and Q's. Everybody on the Chiefs got to really, make a play, and they can't miss. They can't have the drop passes. They can't do all those things. And the one thing that I'll say is their best bet is to get out early, because if you let the Ravens get a lead, it's tough. Make the Ravens kind of have to get out of their game plan and not be balanced and run the ball like they want to. Then you got a shot. But if they can't do that, it's curtains.
You know what I think about and was remind me of, and I can see it playing out. I think about the Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl and how the Bucks just put so much pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes couldn't even set his feet. It was always somebody in his face every single play. Somebody in his face. I kind of see it. I can see it playing out that same exact way, where the Ravens defense just overwhelms that. Like, don't get me wrong, as long as you got Patrick Mahomes, you got a chance. But this season only, the weak link of the Chiefs roster is the offense. The offense is the weak link. The defense has been carrying them most of the year. But I think the Ravens can win this game easy. My money's on the. I want the Ravens to win this game. Fortunately,
I think the Chiefs defense can hang with the Ravens offense, but not long enough to.
How you spell that girl name like that, man?
Oh yeah, raw. He let it know what he tried to do.
Hey, we can't say that in 2024.
Yeah. But I think the Chiefs defense can hang with the Ravens offense, but not long enough to sustain it. Like I said, I know they can make it. It could be the same thing like we've seen against the Texans. It could be a 10-10 halftime thing, and then next thing you know it, this thing can get out of hand quick. I just see it that way. Like I said, I just the way that their defense is balling and the way they match up with the Chiefs offense, with the offense that ain't really clicking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Pat. You know what I'm saying? Now, if like I said, I could be wrong. Pat could go out there and be Pat, and next thing you know, he can remind you that he Pat. He like, hey, look,
that little angry toddler scramble for 12 yards.
Yeah,
he do run like an angry
toddler. So look, so we can come in and say some things next week. It could be a totally different thing. Like, boy, you was wrong as hell here. And hey, that could be true. Well, I'm just saying, this is a prediction. I got the Ravens big. Pause.
Oh,
I got the Lions. I got the Lions. That's all I'm gonna say. I got the Lions. Shit, I don't care. I got the 49ers. Lions or 49ers. That's what I got. That's what I got in this game. God damn it. I'm not picking this shit.
Hey man.
Dog, if I AFC North, if I can pick the Ravens, man, you can pick the Ravens too, AJ.
No, I can't.
Man.
No, I can't. No, I can't.
Because I damn sure would pick. I don't give a damn who in the NFC East going. Not me. Listen, man. I know we went a little extended. You know, we got a little excited.
This was fun, man.
Little
shit.
Yeah, definitely fun. It's episode 226. You know what I'm saying? I want to appreciate everybody for joining us on the live to have fun. Shout out to Embiid. Shout out to Carl Anthony Towns. Shout out to everybody that's in the AFC and the NFC wildcard game. Shout out to the fans that's rooting for their team. Like you say, make sure you follow us on all the social medias, all the networks. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm Hill. That's Marcus. That's AJ. That's Candace somewhere. Y'all the fools. And we out.